What's happening, everybody? Brawn Age Mage back at it and back in action again on that long road. And I was sitting here thinking to myself about Pokemon, because that's what I do. My brain tends to wander. And when it does, I sometimes get on a particular thought process. Sometimes I don't. So when I do, I hopefully will capture one that I can share with y'all. Because once again, y'all in it for the long haul with ya boy. But thinking about the Pokemon and the fact that I don't know anything besides the first 151 because #I'm old, I was sitting there thinking about some of the other nostalgia things in video games that I was remembering from back in the day. Because once again, I'm from the 90s. That being said, I kind of thought about an old game that I haven't thought about in a while. Maybe does anyone else remember the precursors to point-and-click adventures? I'm talking like the early DOS games that were ported to the regular Nintendo Entertainment System. 3 particularly come to mind, which happen to be Shadowgate, Deja Vu, and Uninvited. If you're still following me, good for you. You've earned yourself a cookie, and hopefully I've earned myself a like, because that is buckling the juggling up for a very, very niche market in a very, very way back when time. But I don't know why these games popped into my brain the way they did particularly, but something about them just spoke a little bit of magic. And it was just neat to see all the illustrated pictures of what they were able to do, or the lack thereof of them, in the left-hand side of your screen, as you then came up with a cornucopia of evolving options of what you could do with the scenario you found yourself in, which particularly reminds me of a particular moment in one of those games. We'll jump over to Shadowgate for the moment. When you're trying to cross this bridge that this troll magically appears on, so he stops you and he demands a coin. So your option for him is to basically give him a coin, if I recall correctly, if you had found them, or to throw a spear at him, which doesn't actually kill him. It just causes him to vanish down into the darkness, as the font says, since of course there was no actual animation in any of these games for the most part. There was very, very basic and rudimentary stuff. I just remember throwing this spear at him, and then when you come back, if you go through there again, he comes back holding the spear. Salty fella, asking that you better cough up the dough, and otherwise you're gonna get it. So you can, at this point, use a spell to bypass him. I think at this point, if you give him a coin, he'll just tell you to jump off a bridge and take it away from you. Oh. And then there's Deja Vu. Deja Vu, and the part that comes to mind is if you happen to go down this particular alley, this mugger or robber will come up and he will try to hold you up for money with his hand in his pocket and saying that he has a gun. So without all the moves you have, which is like take, pull, push, hit, open, close, you can actually hit him, and you can use hit, and then you put the cursor over his nose, and then you deck him in the schnoz. Then after that, he leaves because he actually didn't have a weapon, and he was upset. And if you go back, there's a chance he will appear again and ask and demand money from you. And he actually does have a weapon this time around. Oh, man, sometimes when you get on those trains of thought, you just have to share them out with other people, and hopefully someone rode that train with me for the Nintendo era nostalgia that was kind of out of left field. Because we could talk all day about some of the other Nintendo games, theoretically speaking, for anyone who's been around for my time, like such as Contra, Super C, which is an amazing game, Mario Brothers, of course, Zelda games. But it's always fun and always an experience when you run into one of those games that are just outside of the niche. Oh man alive, that takes me back. Going back to those same kind of games, the ones that originally led me on those paths originally as well was Maniac Mansion, which didn't play none of these games played the same on DOS as they did on the Nintendo, but then I personally have the nostalgia factor from the Nintendo Entertainment System comparatively to anything else, because I was a Nintendo kid growing up, and I did shift over and change to PlayStation, but we'll get to those videos later down the road as well. The Maniac Mansion was one of my favorite old school games that had that whole entire grab take, but you could actually move the character with the cursor for the primary of the game. Your goal was to save this lady. One of the main characters you have, his name is Dave, and his girlfriend was kidnapped by this evil family, and they were actually, I think they're brainwashed by some kind of meteorite. I don't even. This is just me collecting the thoughts mentally and sharing them, as opposed to actually having picked up the game in years and actually telling it, because I've actually experienced it again in this particular decade, because once again, old. But I digress. Oh man alive, some of those old school games is so special. And then there's Fester's Quest, which was one of those games that I didn't want to put down, but I didn't want to pick up again in the first place. I think I just have a salty vendetta against the fact that I haven't actually beaten the game. I will, don't worry, I will. I intend to play video games. And share my actual experiences with them down the road. This particular babble that I'm doing right now is just me thinking about shooting an alligator in a sewer in a point-and-click adventure game that predated things like Monkey Island, Maniac Mansion, and of course all the other games that happened in that era. Like I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. So keep on rocking, everybody. I appreciate you, appreciate the time, and this was once again the Bronze Age Mage asking you to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more wandering thoughts such as this one.